The DOJ just arrested the co-founders and CEO of Samourai Wallet. Let's dive into this. Welcome back, everyone. I was actually going to drop a completely different clip about some shitcoin, and that's just going to get moved to tomorrow because this just dropped this afternoon. And so we got to talk about this because there's some pretty big implications. These guys, if they're found, I mean, obviously, if they are found guilty of this, there could be some major implications, and it sets a precedent. Anyways, let's dive into it. Shout out to Mark Goodwin because he's the one that indirectly brought it to my attention with this tweet. This afternoon: free Samourai Wallet, fuck the state, wake up people, we need you. And I was like, what is going on? And yep, there's the link. Let's dive into it, guys, because this is serious. This is not nothing. Now, some people would say, oh, well, they were expecting this, but we'll dive into the comments after. But let's go through this. So Keone Rodriguez and William Lonergan Hill are charged with operating Samourai Wallet, an unlicensed money transmitting business that executed over $2 billion in unlawful transactions and laundered over $100 million in criminal proceeds. Damian Williams and the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Thomas Fataruso, the special agent in charge of the New York field office of the Internal Revenue Service criminal investigation, and James Smith, the assistant director in charge of the New York field office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, announced today the unsealing of an indictment charging Keone Rodriguez, the chief executive officer and a co-founder of Samourai Wallet, Samourai, and William Lonergan Hill, the chief technology officer and also a co-founder of Samourai, with conspiracy to commit money laundering and conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transmitting business. These charges arise from the defendant's development, marketing, and operation of a cryptocurrency mixer that executed over $2 billion in unlawful transactions and facilitated more than $100 million in money laundering transactions from illegal dark web markets such as Silk Road and Hydra Market, a web server intrusion, a spear phishing scheme, and schemes to defraud multiple decentralized finance protocols. Rodriguez was arrested this morning and is expected to be presented today or tomorrow before a U.S. magistrate judge in the Western District of Pennsylvania. Hill was arrested this morning in Portugal based on the U.S. criminal charges. The United States will seek Hill's extradition to stand trial in the U.S. The case is assigned to U.S. District Judge Richard M. Berman. In coordination with the law enforcement authorities in Iceland, Samourai's web servers and domain were seized. Additionally, a seizure warrant for Samourai's mobile application was served on the Google Play Store. As a result, the application will no longer be available to be downloaded from the Google Play Store in the United States. And yes, that's right. If you go to Samourai's website, this is exactly what pops up. It's some pretty crazy stuff. We're going to take a look at some of the background. It's kind of interesting. Some of these tweets I wasn't even aware of, but let's dive into this. While offering Samourai as a privacy service, the defendants knew that it was a haven for criminals to engage in large-scale money laundering and sanctions evasion. As the defendants intended and well knew, a substantial portion of the funds that Samourai processed were criminal proceeds passed through Samourai for purposes of concealment. Rodriguez and Hill operated Twitter accounts that encouraged and openly invited users to launder criminal proceeds through Samourai. Similarly, in a private message on or about August 27, 2020, Hill, using a Twitter account with the username Samourai Dev, discussed the use of Samourai by criminals operating in online black markets such as Silk Road in private messages with another Twitter user. Similarly, Rodriguez and Hill possessed and transmitted to potential investors marketing material that discussed how Samourai's customer base was intended to include criminals seeking privacy or the subversion of safeguards and reporting requirements by financial institutions. For example, in Samourai's marketing materials, Rodriguez and Hill similarly acknowledged that and the individuals most likely to use a service like Samourai include individuals engaged in criminal activities, including restricted markets. In the below excerpt from Samouai's marketing materials, Rodriguez and Hill acknowledge that its revenues will be derived from dark gray market participants seeking to swap their Bitcoin with multiple parties to avoid detection. In Samurai's marketing materials, Rodriguez and Hill promoted Samourai Wallet and its mixing service as a premium privacy service for transactions involving the proceeds of goods and services that include, among other things, illicit activity. Rodriguez, 35, of Harmony, Pennsylvania, and Hill, 65, a U.S. national who was arrested in Portugal, are each charged with one count of conspiracy to commit money laundering, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, and one count of conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transmitting business, which carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison. Now, before we continue, there's most likely some viewers who don't really know essentially about what the Samourai Whirlpool service is. They also don't know what Wasabi CoinJoin is. Some people may not even be aware that in terms of social media, there's like there's kind of a battle that has gone on back and forth between Wasabi and Samourai, which I actually think has been bad for both of for both of them in terms of perception. But I think that what's important is for people to understand that they don't actually provide a mixing service. Like, a lot of people remember what happened with Tornado Cash. I did a clip on that. I'll put it up so that people can go to it. But essentially, Tornado offered an actual centralized service where essentially you were employing their platform. The way that Samourai works, it's not like there is a coordinator software, so to speak, but it's not you're not moving your tokens, right? You're not moving your Bitcoin to some other platform in order to do this mixing service, so to speak. So I think that this is kind of why it's a little bit different than Tornado Cash, because here the reasons that they're going after Samourai Wallet, it's the money transmission. For the people that follow the drama that goes on online, right? I saw a comment from, I think it was Crypto Bastardo, and he commented about, hey, look, you may hate the Samourai Wallet guys, but this is obviously like, you got to feel for somebody in this type of situation, right? And I think, it made me reflect, because I can't say that I actually hate anybody. I mean, that is a very, very strong word with massive implications that requires a lot of energy. Like, it takes a lot of energy to like truly hate. Like, you got to, anyways, my point is that, we may dislike somebody's rhetoric, we may dislike the way that somebody says something, or, their messaging or whatnot. But this is an encroachment on freedom. And the reason why I say this is because I've said this in past clips. Banks are the biggest money launderers. The banks have all the rails, okay? And even though this is being framed as essentially trying to protect the public, really what's happening is they're trying to protect their moat. Because if you pay attention, okay, these are all services that are occurring without the government. And, people are going to sit there and say, yeah, but Phil, this is criminal activity they're being charged with. I understand that. But the beginnings of most technology adoption, sadly, are the ones that involve the most friction. And the interactions that involve the most friction in society is criminal activity. Okay? So the truth of the matter is that what's happening is that this technology is growing. And the reality is that at some point in the future, it is not just going to entail this quote unquote undesirable activity. The DOJ is helping to create the narrative that people who desire privacy are all criminals. And that is not true. That is not the case. Okay. People who desire privacy are not all criminals. You are a human being. You are an individual. This idea that privacy is criminal is entirely meant to strip you of your freedom and your ability to be an individual. Anyways, yeah, that's the clip for today, guys. I will catch you tomorrow.